All the deans, professors, and students, a very good afternoon to one and all. Today, Dr. Aishwarya from Department of Zoology, is here to throw some light on the topic microplastic contamination, a growing hazard for terrestrial and aquatic life. So today we're going to discuss about introduction, what is microplastic, type of microplastic, sources of contamination, how microplastic enters into soil, and how microplastic is affecting terrestrial ecosystem, its accumulation in food chain, how microplastic enter into water bodies and it's affecting aquatic ecosystem, matter of concern, microplastic and human health risk, solution and mitigation, then coming over to conclusion and future perspectives. So introduction. Microplastic contamination poses a serious environmental threat affecting both terrestrial as well as aquatic ecosystems. These tiny plastic particles originate from the breakdown of larger plastics and industrial discharges. As we all know that as population is increasing, so the resources, the pressure on resources is also increasing. And as we know that plastic is non-biodegradable and thus is a major challenge to degrade and mainly contributing towards the improper waste management things which are contributing into pollution. So in aquatic ecosystems, marine organisms ingest these microplastics leading to bioaccumulation and potential toxicity. On land, they degrade soil quality and infiltrate the food chains through agricultural practices. Studies have also detected microplastics in human food and water, raising concerns about potential health risks. To mitigate this issue, urgent action is needed to regulate plastic usage, enhance waste management, and promote sustainable alternatives. So coming over to next slides, here we'll discuss the types of microplastics. So generally, they are divided into two types, primary microplastics and secondary microplastics. So the primary ones, these are intentionally manufactured small plastics such as microbeads, which are present in cosmetics, industrial abrasives, and plastic pellets used in manufacturing. The secondary microplastics, these are resulted from the breakdown of larger plastic items like plastic bags, bottles, and fishing nets, which we already know that plastic takes a lot of time to degrade, and generally we say that it is non-biodegradable. So if it persists in environment for a larger time, then absolutely it is gonna impact the biodiversity in various ways. Now next, the sources of contamination. So wastewater treatment plants, the incomplete filtration of microplastics from domestic and industrial sources, atmospheric deposition, microplastics are also transported through wind and precipitation. Agriculture runoff, the use of plastic mulch films and biosolids in case of farming, river and ocean currents. So when the transport of microplastics also results into the land and aquatic ecosystems, they can go through food chains or other sources like rain and all. Now, here are examples of the sources of microplastic contamination. So as we already discussed about primary and secondary sources, so examples are personal care products, synthetic textiles, industrial abrasives, then pallets, tire wear particles, and in secondary sources, plastic waste breakdown, fishing gear, paints, coatings, agricultural activities, or cigarette filters. Now, next is that how these tiny particles or microplastics enter into the soil. So, huge plastic production and improper waste management is a major point of concern as the facts show that about 26% of plastic waste is being recycled, which accounts for a very small fraction. It is also estimated that about 18% of plastics are recycled and 24% are incinerated, while 58% are landfilled, which tend to enter into natural environment where the accumulation of plastic occurs and stays for a longer duration. Now, the next. Now, these microplastic plastics are affecting terrestrial ecosystem as they are persisting for a long time. So they contaminate soil, disrupt microbial communities, as we know that soil is a home for a lot of microbes, which leads to hindrance in plant growth, accumulation in food chains, and it alters water retention, introduces toxins, which threatens biodiversity and ecosystem stability in terrestrial environments. Now, disruption in soil chemistry, microbial balance, and nutrient cycle. We also know that the various nutrients are also cycled through soil, like carbon cycle and other cycles, which are connected with biodiversity as well as ecosystem. So that is also contributing here to reduced reliance and functionality of the terrestrial ecosystems. Next, we can see various key points that how it is impacting soil health. So impact on soil health, it interferes with microbial communities, absorbs toxic pollutants, reduces soil fertility, which is then affecting affecting the crops, then affects water retention, affects porosity, and alters the soil structure. Now, these are the impacts on the plant growth. So these microplastics, when enter into the plant systems, then they hinder root penetration, affect disease resistance ability of the crops, decrease nutrient absorption, affects photosynthesis process, reduces seed germination, affects pollination process, which is very important, and also hinders the root penetration. Now, accumulation in food chain. If they are entering into the plants, then surely they are gonna be served in our plates too. So now the soil organisms that are ingesting microplastics are transferring them up to the food chain. We know that toxicity goes on increasing from a very smaller trophic level to the higher one. So which is leading to bioaccumulation and potential toxicity in higher organisms. Microplastics have been detected in various food chains as well as water sources, raising concerns about potential impact on human health too, that is just through the food chains. Entering of microplastic into food chain give rise to microbiome alteration along with complications like oxidative stress and energy disturbance. Now, how these tiny particles are entering into the water body. So fishing nets, ropes, and other plastic equipments degrade and release microplastics directly into the oceans. The plastic debris in the marine environments also break down due to the UV radiation or other wave actions, which are leading to the formation of secondary microplastics. And we can see the littering here and there when there is pollution, like people throw plastic bottles or polythene bags here and there, then what happens that they also persist for a longer time and again get break down into microplastics and through the environmental factors such as sunlight, temperature, and physical aberration, they get converted into a small tiny particles which are known as microplastics and again gonna impact the life present over there if it's when we are talking about aquatic. So not only to terrestrial, but it is also harmful for the aquatic life. Now, other examples are like cargo ships and cruise ships, which are discharging microplastics through paint chips, plastic waste disposal, and cleaning activities. Microplastic from industrial emissions and construction activities or household dust can also settle into water bodies through rain or wind transport. Now, the microplastics from personal care products like face scrubs or toothpaste and synthetic fibers from laundry also get enter into the sewage systems Now, microplastics are affecting aquatic life as they entered into the water. Now, the various plants as well as the marine life, the animals like fishes and all, which are present in the oceans or water bodies, they get impacted. They disrupt aquatic ecosystems by harming the marine life and entering the food chain, causing toxicity, bioaccumulation, which also alter their habitats, reduce biodiversity, and affect water quality, ultimately threatening ecosystem balance and sustainability. They also contaminate water bodies and disrupt ecosystem balance, harm marine organisms through ingestion and entanglement, disrupt reproduction and growth in the aquatic species. They also bioaccumulate in food chains, then again affecting higher organisms too because they are passed from one trophic level to another. They alter habitats, impacting coral reefs and the sediment quality. They reduce biodiversity by affecting species survival rates, and they also affect the oxygen levels by interfering with plankton populations. They also spread toxic pollutants that adhere to plastic surfaces and introduce harmful chemicals leading to a long-term ecological damage. Now, this is the matter of concern that recently it is a study of 2022. So, this was the first indication that we have polymer particles in our blood. It was said by Professor Dick Wethek, ecotoxicologist at Vrije University, Amsterdam, Netherlands. It was also published in journal Environmental International. So, what we depict from here that as we know that huge amount of plastic waste is being dumped in the environment, and the microplastics are now known to contaminate entire planet. And recently, this microplastic pollution has been detected in human blood, and scientists have found that these microplastics or the tiny particles are present in almost 80% of people, those who were tested in the study. And discovery also shows that these particles can travel in body and may lodge in organs, causing impact on health. Now, microplastic and human health risk. So there are a lot of human health risk, and we can say the disadvantages or the harm which these microplastics knowingly or unknowingly gonna affect humans too. So inflammation and cellular damage, potential carcinogenic effects can be there, leading to cancer, gut microbiome destruction, then respiratory problems, neurotoxic effects, cardiovascular risk, hormonal imbalance, and it can also trigger the immune response, leading to lower immunity. Now, here is one more slide where I have made one diagram. Here we can see that the smoke from industries, it can also carry the microplastic polluting the air quality. Then we can say that we are also dependent upon the industries for various packaged food or other cosmetics. So which are again gonna result to dermal absorption by the microplastics through skin and enter our body. So it is required that the waste should be properly, managed. Otherwise, when these things get entered through various food chains like terrestrial food chain or aquatic food chain, it will harm flora and as well as fauna, and will be transferred through soil and water, contaminating the whole planet and ultimately will lead to health effects like metabolic changes, inflammation, and it will also affect gut microbiota and will lead to problems like asthma, infections, allergy, cancers, and it not only affect just the flora or fauna we can say, but it is also affecting our resources. Like it can affect agricultural productivity, affects water and soil quality, and contaminates the environment. So it is need of an art to just focus on this, and then coming over to the solution and mitigation strategies, that this is the problem and how we can overcome it. So the very first point is reducing plastic production and consumption. So how we can reduce the plastic production? So we can go for the eco-friendly products. Like in Himachal Pradesh, plastic, first polythene bags were being used when you were going to market, but now it is totally banned. So such type of, or we can go for bioplastic or something like which is biodegradable and eco-friendly. Next is improved waste management and recycling. Products can be recycled. Then the 3 hours of waste management, people should be made aware about that. Next is biodegradable alternatives and green chemistry solutions. Now, what are these green chemistry solutions? That uh, as research is going on and technology is being developed, like nanotechnology or other, other research is going on, and some products like some eco-friendly, nanoparticles or other things which are giving us the options for more other biodegradable alternatives which can replace this use of this plastic. Then next are policy and regulation measures, as I already discussed, like we are having ban on polythene in Himachal. So likewise, other restrictions and monitoring can be done. Next is promoting biodegradable alternatives, then enhancing wastewater treatment to filter the microplastic. The wastewater treatment can be proper so that this filtered microplastics can be filtered, and if we can save the aquatic life from their harmful impact. And one thing more, that people are also dependent upon the seafood or the marine food. So if the water bodies will be polluted, then what will happen, that people who are eating fish and all, then microplastics can also enter through there. So next is encouraging recycling and responsible plastic disposal, conducting research on microplastic degradation and removal methods. As I myself has worked in this with context to this microplastic degradation. So if we talk about the soil organisms like earthworms, so their gut is having microbes which are capable of degrading plastic up to some extent, but the conditions are that how much we have to expose and all. So likewise, there are many things and research is going on globally. Next is the conclusion that microplastic are posing significant threats to flora as well as fauna by causing toxicity, bioaccumulation, physiological stress, then reproductive disorders like we have heard about PCODs or others, and developmental abnormalities. They disrupt ecosystems, alter nutrient cycles, and endanger biodiversity by affecting the primary producers, which are plants. Then they get transferred into herbivores and other predators through food chain. These persistent pollutants infiltrate food chains, leading to a long-term ecological imbalances, causing potential health risks for higher organisms, including human beings. So mitigation of microplastics in order to reduce its harmful impact has become need of an hour. So these are the future perspectives, like advanced technologies for microplastic removal, as it is a very challenging task. Understanding the role of microbes in plastic degradation, that which microbes contribute in this, then need for interdisciplinary research and global collaboration. Now, why we have focused on interdisciplinary research? Because research cannot exist as alone. We have seen that it is impacting terrestrial ecosystem. It is also impacting aquatic ecosystem. And also related to agriculture, to zoology, to health. So that's why it is not of a single discipline, but of interdisciplinary context. And then waste management strategies. that should be eco-friendly and encouraging the bioremediation innovations in this field can lead in saving our planet from these harmful tiny microplastics. So that was all. Thank you.